Hello everyone, how are you all? So today I am presenting the strategic management process of a real world organization based on Kantas Airways. Uh, this is Sanjida Amin Omi. So I am going to evaluate critically the strategy management method of Qantas Airways. Jetstar is the low-cost arm of Australia's main airline Qantas. The Qantas Group utilizes a dual brand strategy to address the premium and cheap segments of the market. So Qantas has posted massive underlying profits in recent years, indicating a strong financial recovery from the epidemic. However, this time also revealed a major gap in its strategic management process as the financial indicators were good, but the customer satisfaction, public trust, and employee morale took a big hit owing to operational challenges and service delays. So, Kantas is a wonderful case study to examine the direct influence of strategy formulation on real results. So, let's move on to the next slide. See, here I have explained the Mintzberg's 5 P's of strategy evaluation. So, if I start with the first one, the framework may use to evaluate the strategy of Qantas. So, this is about the plan and project sunrise. So, if we talk about it, Qantas is also in the thick of a plan targeting certain future objectives, such as that one I have already mentioned, Project Sunrise, which aims to provide non-stop direct flights from Sydney and Melbourne to London and New York. Secondly, a strategy pattern. So, a strategy pattern or documented post past behavior has been substantially skewed toward cost cutting and large profit margins. Thirdly, is market positioning, which is the full service premium international and local airline. So its market positioning is based on retaining dominance in the local market with Jetstar. Fourthly, its strategic perspective is about becoming Australia's trusted national carrier. So it's about the Australia's historic national carrier, the Spirit of Australia. Finally, Qantas is seen to control route capacity under the ploy. So in an effort to maintain its competitive advantage against local competitors like as Virgin Australia, so critiquing this approach demonstrates a fundamental concern, which is Qantas' pattern of considerable cost reduction, which produced serious friction with their perspective as a trusted premium brand. So, a recent governance study identified a tendency for management to address operational concerns as ordinary business rather than key strategic issues, indicating a gap between financial objectives and customer service. So, let's move on to the next slide. So here I have talked about the ends of matrix growth strategy. So after the 5 Ps, let's look at the development trend of Qantas via ends of matrix. So market penetration. So Qantas use its frequent flyer program to earn more from current customers, and it's transforming its loyalty arm into high profit, highly engaged platform. So product development, Qantas is spending extensively in a high huge fleet renewal program, introducing next generation Airbus A350 and A321. So aircraft which aircraft reducing fuel economy and upgrading passenger comfort. So market development is Project Sunrise, which is market development strategy since it's building entirely new point-to-point routes connecting Australian cities to Europe and North America without layovers. So this shows how Qantas balances their steady profit domestic business with capital expenditure in new travel markets. So let's move on to the next slide. So here I have provided some recommendation. So based on this data, I will firstly recommend two practical solutions to prove Qantas strategic management process. So the first one talks about the strategic planning. So the strategic planning should balance financial KPIs and stakeholders' emotions, focus strategy on customer experience. So Qantas has to raise the weightage of the customer satisfaction rating in the executive planning and performance scorecards. So align execution capabilities to operational commitments. Strategy execution must equal company promises. Operational failures that impair long-term brand equity must be minimized by the realistic management of ground staff, maintenance resources, and flight schedules. Along with that, I have also added the transparent governance and risk management, which also need to be included in Qantas long-term strategic planning. You can minimize cost, but if you don't have the right risk controls, you create major operational bottlenecks and erode customer trust. Qantas should create a stronger plan to ensure long-term brand value by holding management accountable to stated ethics and connecting executive goals to quality of service as well as financial rewards. So, to conclude, Qantas has a clear vision for developing markets and investing in its fleet, but its strategic process needs to make sure that short term cost goals and long term customer trust are more closely aligned. So, these are my references. Thank you for watching. That's all about my. Thank you.